just for fun. Let's explore something. Then an open inquiry, so anybody can participate. But in your view, what makes it that a thought gets followed or doesn't get followed? How does that happen? Is it something we decide? Is it something that just happens? Watch it.
Hi, Isaac.
Hey,
Uh, First of all, for me, the mind is just space when God's showing us information. So if it's something following, it's just showing us, all right, we have to go into this to see something clearly because it's some information what is important for this moment. This is what actually I'm, yeah, this is what I'm watching in, because it's not my decide that the mind trying
yeah.
to,
So in other words, it's not a decision.
yeah,
Yeah, because some thoughts are rubbish. They have, there's no point in giving any attention, and some thoughts come and they have some relevance to practicality of something.
exactly. Yeah.
So just curious, what makes it's interesting because I was exploring with someone the other day, and there was this idea that we decide,
Hmm.
and that idea that we decide then makes it seem like there's someone there,
Yeah,
that there's a doer. And from that, then you can make the right decision or the wrong decision. And, then we've got the whole mess, basically. But so just looking at it, we're just exploring. Somehow, life happens, decisions happen. Like, and I love that saying of John Lennon's, life is what happens while we're busy making other plans, because we all know it, it's like life just seems to do its thing. But like just at a very simple, like a thought comes, some thoughts, attention goes to them because there's charge to it or something, and pulls our attention in a funny kind of a way. Some thoughts come and we see just not interested.
yeah. Before your question, actually, um, I want to speak with you about partner relationship, and the question comes about how can be as one as the self if we live in as two people, and and the strong habits to taking care of. Even question how are you is not necessary because there is only God. Yeah.
Mm.
And but in this moment when you are in a relationship, in partnership, then this is normal habits to wake up and just to speak with other people, how are you, is everything good? And but in this moment it's really easy to go into the separateness. But even question what I want to speak with you, how to stay as the self is not, it is the illusion because we are always the self. Yeah.
Exactly.
But is the moment when actually is something showing you, um, that that in this moment it's important to be as the character, or something we have to see closer, or
So just looking at that, that's beautiful. This comes up and this impulse comes. How are you? And how can we even answer that question? Well, where do you answer that question from? What do you measure by? So somehow there's something underneath that. There's some idea of relating, of keeping it together, of a relationship that you can preserve it by being a nice person or being sensitive or something.
Mm-hmm.
So lots of conditioning, lots of ideas.
Yeah.
And it's okay to play the game. Yes, you're separate than me, and somehow, but if you go deep with the question, who am I or who are you? You find, wow, those are just all projections, basically.
Yeah. So why does actually happen when because what I want to ask you that Isaac have been after realization in some relationship because um, even if we know who we really are and what's going on here and going God show itself in everyone in everything, then why this happening again to show you that in partnership there is so strong habits to going forward to thinking that you taking care of, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah,
If we know that it's not true, even the
yeah,
words what we're speaking
yeah,
now is
yeah.
not.
So that's the same. The question that I asked: what makes us follow a single thought, any
Yeah,
thought about
exactly.
anything?
Yeah.
You know, somehow, what is it that somehow we go with the thought? It's like, we hear no thought, or a thought comes and it's not entertained. There's no sense of me. Then there's just a sense of being everything and nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And then from that, what makes some thought believed in or followed, or
Mm-hmm.
do we choose it? How does that happen? Because to me, it doesn't seem like there's any choice involved at all. It happens or
Yeah,
it doesn't happen.
just happen. Yeah.
Yeah. Or it's seen or it's not seen. It's just like, because for sure, when a thought is followed, then there's a whole story that happens.
Yeah, because it's easy to say in this moment we are out of presence, but if we're watching this idea or just word in the mind, we
Mhm.
always looking at the present. Yeah.
That's where it's interesting to see what is that movement from recognizing that awareness is our nature, peace is our nature, love is our nature, and then moving into settling for crumbs, wanting just something.
Yeah.
Interesting movement, yeah.
Yeah. How it looks for you?
Yeah, just like I'm speaking,
Yeah.
just watching. It's
Just
like,
watching.
yes, a movement happens, and either there's a seeing of it, and then it's kind of a letting go happens, or no one lets go, just a letting go happens by itself because it's seen. This is There is no one to let go. There is no one to surrender.
Yeah.
It's just this that's always here, and that's it.
Yeah, what I'm speaking about topic like that is always as the camera. We just showing that it's zoom or without zoom. We're just watching something more from bigger space or just zoom inside. But
Yeah,
it's
and also, how does that happen? Who does that? Is that a doing, or is that just like
it just happened.
uh, it just happens? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Can I ask you about Buddha field? How it's really work? That
Who can say anything? You know, our nature is that for the field,
yeah.
and we're not separate from it. There never has been separation from that.
So what we can say about the feeling of um when we connect together here?
Yeah,
Why?
it seems to me like, you know, we come with a common interest to just be, and then it's like habits that are very familiar and that maybe in our usual lives escape our attention, become obvious. They get seen, and the system gets quiet, and it's delicious. It's the joy of pure being. Yeah.
Yeah.
No teacher, no teaching, no student, nowhere to get, no one to get there. Just a direct knowing, a direct seeing.
Can we say that is some this depends of quiet mind is
Of
so
course.
is
Yeah, yeah.
stronger feeling than
But you see, it's like the what we call mind is just thought.
yeah.
Yeah. So the usual habit during the course of most of our days is that thoughts come and there's some attention goes to them. But when we're sitting here, there's nothing else to do. We just sitting here. We're not trying to get anywhere. We just very gently noticing if a thought comes and then seeing what happens, what plays, how it works. So it's inquiry. It's just inquiry with no aim, with no goal, with no body doing it. It's just the deliciousness of having time just to be, with nothing polluting it, no trying to get somewhere, no trying to accomplish anything. Guilty.
Hi, Isaac.
I guilty.
Uh, I have something, and it's related to what you just talked about. Uh, my whole how should I say intention is to rest, to just rest with being. But yesterday, somebody I trust, he told me to drop seeking, that he saw that I'm running towards something, and I got really uh, sort of agitated by this. It really stirred things up, and I think I got a bit confused.
Yeah, so okay. So, you know, what I see is that some of the habits that play in us are so familiar we don't even see them. We don't even notice them. It's not wrong, it's not bad, it's just how it functions. So, Byron Katie has an invitation when someone says something, just to see, is there any truth to it? Is there any, especially if it touches? It's like somehow then it's like, okay, wow, far out. Something got touched just in some sounds that made sense to something, like that. So we hear, and truly we know, there's a deep knowing that there is nowhere to get to. There is only here. And yet somewhere there can be some subtlety of keeping quiet to get somewhere, or like it's gonna, whatever it is, it can just have some subtlety attached to it that we don't notice because it's so familiar.
And for me, it's like I can see this, and at the same some kind of hopelessness in it, because it's like I mean, my whole intention is I can see some restlessness inside me, and I rest with it, and I feel like I'm how shall I say it, more and more sort of sinking into that. But it's really, yeah.
So that restlessness, okay. So that we can, if we say, look, everything is the ocean. On the surface of the ocean, it's restless, it's wavy, it's in the depths, it's very quiet. So, but it's all the ocean.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so it's so easy to then want the quiet more than the restlessness.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's beautiful because somehow there's like there's a noticing of a restlessness. But here's some subtlety that might be worth looking at. We're part of a field. Now, in that field, there is restlessness. I mean, what's going on the world stage is crazy. And for sure, we would feel that. Now, the movement into taking that restless personally, it's like, okay, there's sensitivity, so feeling huge shifts going on. In my view, it's not personal at all. But that the habit to think that if we're experiencing it, it means something that's personal, something to do with me. But to me, I see that's kind of like a different understanding. That's kind of in the direction of the bodhisattva vow, which is something in the direction of, as long as there's restlessness or anything in the field, I vow to not take final liberation until all beings are at peace. But it's also a funny kind of a vow in a certain way, because it's like there is no separation. There is no individual that's going to take, balance.
No.
But it's like, so here we are, and there is all this information in the field. And welcome. No? It's what else?
Yeah.
You have children.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have a child, and the child will cry. And the cry doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong. It's just the only way the child has to communicate that it needs something.
Yeah.
And so, you know, that's its signal. That's our, to have a child and to think it's never going to cry. It's like, and there's a lot of, I would say, expressions of life that we call people that never got met as children, never got held, never got, and we hear that cry. We hear, you know, it's like it's everywhere. And the tendency is to go, no, I don't, you know, I don't include that. I don't like that actually. I don't like hearing crying. I wish the crying would stop or something, you know, like that. Rather than, okay, yes, I feel it and it's welcome. It may never go away, actually. And it's welcome.
Yeah.
Something, I mean, I'm just trying to use pictures and words to invite something.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
And I feel it feels just that it felt good to just sort of expose this.
Yeah, beautiful kid, beautiful. I mean, it's just like, you know, of course, someone you like and trust says something and it touches you and you go, oh, I didn't realize there was something that was going on unconsciously. Thank you. You know, it's not comfortable. And actually, you know, so the initial response was, oh, I didn't want to hear that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. I was thinking about what you said about preferring the silence from the waves, and
Yeah.
it's something about these meetings you have. I don't know if I have heard correctly, but I think that you prefer that people have their eyes open. I don't know, but that's how I
Heard it, yeah. No, it's not. It's just like it's when our eyes are our strongest sense.
Yeah.
And so when our eyes are open, it's like it actually influences the nervous system in a certain way. When the eyes get closed, it's like we're cutting off external input, a big percentage of the external input. And we're going into a private world in a way, or there's a possibility of going into a private world. And in fact, drifting off to sleep. Because that's what neurologically, that's what we used to when we close our eyes. It's like, it's a very familiar pathway. So nothing wrong with closing the eyes, nothing, just experiment and just see, okay, the eyes are open and still there's awareness here. And
I just feel it's beautiful because it's sort of an invitation, I feel, to what is there when my eyes are closed. It's here when my eyes are open, and I that's something that just is just beautiful. It's
yeah, all right. You know, one of the things that came to me in exploring was like one of the habits with the eyes is to focus in a way where we try to know what's going on. And when the eyes are just like holes that light can come in without that additional thinking like we know what's going on, that kind of narrow focus. So as I was playing with that, and I saw, oh, when the eyes just are holes, something relaxes in the whole nervous system. And that wideness, or whatever you could say, that breath opens up. And when the eyes get closed, there's like yeah, I can just say what I notice in me. It's like this, I like it, but it's like it's more movement into almost like I could say a private world. but it's like when we sit together and the eyes are just receiving each other without trying to know what's going on. It's like hooking two computers together in a certain way, or then information just flows freely. So, like if you look in the ancient texts, they talk about like how something can happen just through the eyes meeting. Like I could just say that somehow as exploring has been happening there, I'm just trying to put it into words that maybe resonate with your own knowing.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand what you mean. Yes.
Yeah, cool.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Kirti. Yeah. Rishi. And then Geha afterwards. So Rishi now and then Geha afterwards. Hi, Rishi.
I would like to step in this inquiry with you. When I take this image of the ocean you brought, the surface is kind of wild, emotions, thoughts, and the depths are quiet. In my feeling, there's everything is this ocean, and around this ocean is a frame. Let's call it frame. What's going to happen will happen. What's not going to happen will not happen. And in this illusionary, let's call it Maya, there's an illusionary free will.
Yeah,
So
but once you call it illusory, you see it for what it is. It's an illusion.
yeah.
You see, even when we say what's going to happen is going to happen and what's not going to happen, it's true in a certain way, but yet we can't even say what's happening.
True.
Yeah.
Nice what you had spoken with this. Happy to have time to be there. Just
To be.
just to be. And this question with the free will is years and years around in my head, and sometimes it's there and then it's there. But since I'm in contact,
it's a funny thing. It's like, it's like you said it clearly that it's an illusion. And then if you look deeper, you could say, who is it that would have the free will? Ramana had a question. He said, when your teeth bite your tongue, who's responsible?
and in this case, what is with destiny? Is there some Akasha Chronic written in?
If you can't say what's happening, then what's destiny? What happens to the idea of destiny? You take a gold bracelet and you melt it and it becomes a ring, and then you say, okay, it was its destiny to become a ring, but then you melt it and it's still gold, and it becomes who knows, an earring, or I don't know. It's like even though you're on the other side of the world, you know, we're still breathing dinosaur molecules and atoms, and you know, it's like when we're in the same room, we breathe each other's molecules and atoms. It's just one big ocean, galactic ocean, yeah.
And in this time, it seems it goes well. Yeah.
And it's in a certain way, it's always been like that, you know. It's like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and yes, you
And
know, I mean, like if things are in a certain way, we can say it's like things are moving so fast. It's like, you know, what the amount of information people would have in 100 years, now we have on a daily basis almost. You know, and it's only speeding up, it's not slowing down actually. So you know, to me, that the interest is simply rest without concerning ourselves with any appearances. Like, awareness of what's appearing, but more interest in the awareness itself.
also interest in the dynamic awareness.
To, you know, I'd say to a certain degree, but unless the prominence, you know, is awareness. The tendency, look, the way we've been conditioned has been to be over-focused on the content of awareness, our perceptions, our feelings, our thoughts, on the content, yeah?
Yeah.
How we see things. And kind of awareness is overlooked completely. The moment there's a recognition that all of this is just illusion, it's just comes and goes, then there's a very different perspective. Beyond time, beyond everything. You know, it's like without that recognition of awareness, the movie seems very serious, very important, very, you know, it's like, tricky.
Thank you. Let's enjoy the movie.
I'd say, you know, our nature is enjoyment, it's yeah, it's an enjoyment that's not dependent on anything. Saturi. Oh, I said Geha, sorry, first Geha, and then Saturi. Sorry, Geha.
Hello.
Hi.
It doesn't take much for me to be touched these days. And when Katie was talking and you were sharing about the agitation on the surface. Oh, I'm dealing with so much there's so much emotion every day, and it's huge. And I have there's no motivation, there's no wanting to go anywhere or do anything. There's just deep sort of dying sort of feeling, and it's really, I'm seeing almost, there's an awareness that moves from the concept of awareness to the biggest awareness, but it's almost impossible. It seems to not make it personal.
So that's the inquiry then. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
So we hear and we just slowing it down enough, like there's a knowing it's not personal, that somehow it appears or it feels personal.
So yeah.
So it's like so we hear, and for me, one of the questions that like are useful is, if it was up to you, would it be like this?
Definitely not.
Okay, so and then the laughter comes. So you can see that that it's really, if it was up to you, it would not be like this. What that actually means is something is playing automatically, unconsciously. So then, just to be clear, when it's automatic and unconscious, who's doing it?
No one, but
No one's doing it.
yeah.
No one's doing it. There's just something playing automatically and unconsciously.
So that habit to turn it in on the personal is quite
okay, so but at
overwhelming
overwhelming
to see.
At this moment,
yeah,
we've just inquired, and you can see it's not you that's doing it. Even to take it personally, it's not you. Okay, it's old habits, old unconscious movements, and you see it, that it's not you that's doing that. So
here
now
with
we
you,
just
I can
watch
see
it. Yeah,
here
cool. So now
with you, I
we
can
just
see it.
Yeah, fantastic. So in this moment, you see that whatever's playing, you're not the doer of it. And it doesn't mean anything about who you are. And so just sitting with that, we're not trying to change anything. All we're doing is we're giving information, yeah? So you're not the doer of it, doesn't mean anything about you. And we know that in a way, our attention is the key. Somehow our attention gets drawn to where there's discomfort. And it gets drawn to it, wanting to fix it, change it, solve it, which is what makes it personal. That movement is the movement of identification, is the movement that makes it seem personal. And it plays the same in all of us. It's no, that's not, certainly you don't have the patent on it. Nobody does that. That's just how it functions, yeah.
But it's the power of the wanting to self-destruct, watching that self. It's like it's really quite challenging to see.
So at this moment, how much power does that have?
Well, can I have you here all the time?
The beauty is seeing through it. Yeah, that's the beauty, you know, just seeing things and seeing out to the right. It doesn't, the power comes from, you know, you could say automatic unconscious resistance, which nobody's doing. That's where the power comes from. And once it has moved into a sense, you know, like into a personalized sense, into an identified sense, then it wants to live. What a, you know, it's like, then it just runs around and around.
Yeah, and that's the part that's really, because I've had this misophonia thing my whole life, you know, that compounding, lifelong repetitive belief that there was something wrong here has been
beautiful.
Has been
and yeah, cool.
more than the system could handle.
Up till now, that's
up until now, yeah.
Yeah, because at this moment it's handling it fine.
Yeah, I'm just in awe of how much is just falling out of me, and I can't stop it. These, you know, since the loss of my, you know, there's so much dying and the family and stuff around me. It's just, it's. But then, you know, the habit to make the victim's story is it's
so okay, so
old.
let's just honor that for a moment. So you can see you're not doing that because you would never do that, but
right
it's
now
happening.
Yeah,
but it happens. Okay, so all we're doing is somewhere it has a value to the nervous system.
Yeah.
So we're just honoring it. It's like somewhere along the line, it was useful. No right or wrong to it. It's just what it did. And it costs a lot because it's suffering. And it's not something that you do. It's just somewhere it makes sense to the nervous system.
It's crazy.
Yeah, so we're just honoring it now and just, what's its function? We just asking the question. Maybe it's time to reveal itself, maybe not. We just asking that question. What's its function? Yeah.
I don't have to keep me safe is the right answer, but it feels fear-based. Yeah.
So it's trying to help. It's trying to help in some way.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not wrong. It's not bad. It's trying to help. It's just confused. Yeah.
Oh. I've never felt this
So-
vulnerable around it. Thank you for speaking all that you've spoken today.
Yeah, cool. So we can see that something's playing in the nervous system and it's trying to help. And all we're checking is in this moment, is it necessary or useful?
No, because I
So-
feel connected. I feel connected.
Beautiful.
Right now, I feel connected.
Right now.
It's
So, you know,
connection.
yeah, okay. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So in a weird way, it gives you a sense of connection, that other thing, that old habit. Gives us some, it's like a replacement for connection. But at
Yeah,
a big
because
cost.
I've just seen, and I've just seen, it was my father. Yeah, the dynamic. Yeah. I've never seen it so clearly.
Beautiful, Gail.
What a strange,
Mm.
unusual mechanism.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Isaac.
Oh, thank you. You know, I mean, I was just looking at some astrologers' take on what's going on. And
I've been watching
like-
Pam Gregory. I've been watching
Okay,
so
yeah.
much of her and listening to all that ascension stuff, which I never bother about. And it's like, oh, I don't know if that's serving me right now, but just the circus that's going on in the world, you know, it's like, it's just a circus.
Yeah. So here we are. And you can have moments where it's just everything is okay. How lucky.
So good to see you. Good to be with you.
Saturi. Just can you wave your hands? There, I see you. Hi, Saturi. Yes.
Hi, Isaac. Thank you.
Yes, Tim. Sebastian.
Hey, Isaac.
Hi, Sebastian.
Just a little inquiry why I sometimes follow thoughts. I think it's an old habit all the way from my childhood, where it seemed like it tried to help me, and actually it did at that time. Um, I I grew up in quite violent family, so I had to be prepared when I went home for how was going to happen, so I could protect myself. Um, and what I noticed that my mother was more peaceful, and what I could do to get her attention was sitting on the kitchen table when she was cooking. So I built up some sort of like a habit of doing something or getting prepared to avoid something uncomfortable. And later on, I went to school, and I remember somehow like I was like, what am I doing here? And then I began to think again, what can I do? And again, it was a doing. And all I think I wanted is just like just this sense of feeling that I was okay. I didn't have to do anything, or so it was all about avoiding things or getting attention. It was for me as a child. It was not. I didn't felt it was a selfish attention. It was just like I just wanted to feel good enough.
Safe. Yeah, and safe, whatever, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a strong habit of thinking my way, preparing myself, or thinking my way out of a situation where I didn't feel okay.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
So, so it at that time it helped me, and therefore there was this thought that thoughts can always help me, because but what I find out now is that I don't need to think to feel okay. I don't even need to feel.
Fantastic.
But then sometimes a thought is coming up, and when the thought is about if somebody approaches me with that, like you're not good enough, or it touches that one, I react. I don't react, but my system
Your
reacts.
system reacts. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The feeling of not being good enough.
I'm sure almost everybody here can relate to that.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not personal.
Oh, no, that was the key word. When somebody's telling me something that something in me takes personal. It's only the old like thought feeling about not being good enough.
Exactly, just old information somewhere in the system.
Yeah, I didn't learn that as a child. I had to find that. Yeah, well, not even find it. It's like going in, not going. Yeah, it's yeah, it's just. I can't find better words than just relaxing a bit.
Mm.
And then it's like I'm waking up in this beautiful it's yeah.
Beauty.
Yes.
Was she with the host tonight? Thank you. Thanks, beloved. Love, peace, beauty.